Yeah, just, the UNM game, really proud of the way our players fought and played through a lot of adversity. Going into the game, we had 9 guys in COVID protocol, so we had a lot of guys out there, and getting down to your third-team quarterback and not having your starting middle linebacker in Trevor Brohard. There was a lot of things to, where they could have easily folded it up, and our guys just kept fighting and fighting. We have it as a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, and just can't say enough about how hard our guys are playing and how hard they're fighting. But we got a lot of things to overcome right now, not to mention the fact that we're playing for the first time in a year and a half. So there's a lot out there for our guys to have to deal with, but just, again, really proud of the way they're playing. South Carolina State coming up. This is a really good football team, and I know people here probably aren't very familiar with South Carolina State, but being from the Carolinas myself, and that's where I plan to retire to very soon. About South Carolina State. This program has NFL players all over the place that have come out of there, and Coach Pugh is a legend in that area. He's going to be the all-time winningest coach of that school. And Willie Jeffries was there before, who's a big-time football legend in the Carolinas. And this is a really proud program. It's always been a winning program. He's won several MEAC championships and will win more. And it's just a dynamic program. Football is very, very important to these people, and they back it 100%. Their players have everything they need to excel, including a great coaching staff. So this is going to be a real task for us to hang with these guys.
Questions?
Do you know more about Jonah's condition today, where you might be going?
I don't expect Jonah to be able to play. It looks like he's going to be out. Weston's still out. So we've got to go with what we got left, which is Dino and Trevor Appleman. Trevor was just got out of COVID protocol himself a week ago, so he's only had a week practice since that time, which was last week. So we're trying to get him up and running as fast as we can too.
Is it an open competition between Trevor and Dino, or is it Dino probably going to start?
No, it's got to be Dino right now. Trevor's, like I say, he just was in COVID deal for 14 days and missed 14 days of practice himself until last week. So, and he's a true freshman, so there's a lot to overcome there too. But we got to have him ready because Dino could go down at any time too, and looks like it's going to be one of those situations.
Now that you know that going into the week, what can you do to play to Dino's strengths or whatever, or is it the offense pretty much the same?
Well, you can't change the whole offense, but we got to take some things off his plate. We don't need to be checking plays at the line of scrimmage and having him have to do a lot of things mentally. We need him just to be able to execute plays, and we got to get down to just plays that he's comfortable and is confident with. And then the other guys around him, the other guys around him have just got to play better. They've got to up their play to help him. That means, running the ball better. It means better pass protection. Receivers going to make some big catches. All those type of things you have to do when you're playing with a backup quarterback.
You mentioned pass protection. I know there's a lot of moving parts on every play. Is there more? Is the quarterbacks holding the ball longer? Are receivers not winning at the line of scrimmage? Or are you concerned about pass protection?
No, we're concerned about pass protection. It's really just our right side has been the problem. Our left side and center have been really good, best we've ever had. That's just that right side, finding the right people. So Carson Ferris will start again at right guard. Thought he really played pretty well. We took him out after a while and probably shouldn't have, so we need to leave him in there. And then Doro's going to go back and start again at right tackle, and that's really where we're having most of our issues.
Dino was able to score some points. Obviously against UNM, the most points that you guys had scored, more than the earlier games, but you did a little bit. You want to further go into depth at assessing Dino's game, a guy just coming off the bench cold and playing against UNM?
Oh, what he did, he was really in a tough situation, because he wasn't getting a lot of reps during practice, all the way up until Weston got hurt, and then he was getting a little bit more, but even then it's still backup reps. So to be able to go in and do what he did, was as good as you could ask any young man to do in that situation. And he did make a couple of big-time throws, and he had a couple of runs that were really good. And so, again, just really proud of his effort. It's just, again, getting us this week, getting him with things that he's comfortable with.
Confidence-wise, what do you think that does for him moving forward into this weekend?
Well, it's always easier once you've played. Now he's played, and so he'll be a lot, more calm during the game and hopefully see things a little bit better and those type of things. Everybody gets better with playing time, and so him getting some playing experience and So I hope to be much better this week.
How good was it to score some points? Like, you guys have, I remember I asked Isaiah the same question. He said that you guys have been playing well in practice, so it was good to see you carry over and actually put points on the scoreboard. So, like, moving the ball and finally finishing drives, is that a good sign moving forward?
Yeah, it's a good sign. I think, we still got too many just mental errors and things on both sides of the ball. Some of the deep balls we gave up were mental errors, and we made some mental errors offensively where we could have had opportunity to score even more. I mean, that was a winnable football game for us, even with, down to our 13 quarterback if we just make a couple more plays. But, yeah, we're getting better each week, and we're moving in the right direction. And, again, I know I keep harping on this, everybody's sick of hearing it, but not having played in a year and a half, guys, I mean, look at Connecticut. I mean, their coach has already quit. He's had enough of it, and, their program is so far behind ours. They're not even competitive right now. Now, we took a different path in the spring, which I think is why we're so far ahead of them. But it's hard when you cripple your program when you shut down for a year. I mean, it's crippling. It's going to take 2 years to fix it.
So South Carolina State is a good team. Like, I'm not saying that, but like just to see everything, like the steps you've taken the last couple of weeks to get a win, what would that mean for you? For you guys and the
I think the
players?
biggest thing to me, Jason, is it's a really good reward for our players because our guys have done everything the right way. I mean, they've worked hard in the weight room all summer. They're practicing hard. They're playing tough. They're playing physical. I mean, I've said this before. This is the most enjoyable coaching year I've had in a long time because of these guys that we're coaching. I mean, they've got a fantastic attitude and there's joy to be around. So I just want to see them get rewarded for all that work.
Obviously, you talked about just the difficulties you guys had, getting to the season. Where you guys started week 0 to where you are now, are you surprised at kind of the growth you guys have been able to make in just the 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think, it's I was hoping we'd be farther along offensively, honestly, but, the quarterback injuries have certainly, halted that a little bit and those type of things. But everything else, I don't think you can ask for much more, especially when I go back to the way we're playing physical. Our guys are hitting hard, we're tackling hard. We don't look like we've been out for a year, like we did in the spring. In the spring, those games, we look like we've been out for a year. And I think we've overcome all of that. So now it's just game experience and all these new guys, getting them some reps so that they can go out and play, just like Jason was saying, they go out and play in a game like they play in practice. And that's what we're missing right now.
Probably, we were asking a bunch of questions about Jonah and Weston coming into the season, but now we're down to Dino, and a guy who showed some fun emotion during that game, his celebration after that touchdown pass was that. How'd you get Dino? Obviously, he's a walk-on junior college guy, but a little backstory on how you got him there.
Yeah, we were looking for quarterbacks, through the summer because we still needed more depth at that position. And Dino was at a junior college that didn't play because of COVID, so he didn't get opportunities to get recruited. And Coach Holbrook did a great job of researching and finding him. And so we talked to him about coming here to walk on and that there'd be opportunities down the road. And so that's what happens. Sometimes you get those opportunities before you expect them. And so he was a good get recruiting-wise because he has played at least in junior college and been around some type of college football, and it's a little bit better than having to play a true freshman.
He's a walk-on quarterback. You got full confidence in him, though, running the offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's our guy right now. I mean, you saw what he did Saturday, and, you just got to continue to play better, not make critical mistakes. That's the big thing. And he only had one interception that was really his fault. The other one was dropped by a receiver. But putting his eyes in the right place and those type of things are things that he'll get better at with reps.
Defensively, Coach, you get Cyrus Dumas for the first time this year. How does he change things in the secondary?
Yeah, he's a game changer. He's our best corner. When we went through the summer scrimmages and practices, and then all the way up till the first game, he was the guy in the back end that played better than anybody. And unfortunately had an NCAA clearance issue, so he had to sit the first 3 games. But yeah, he will make a big difference for us back there, and he can really play either corner, the boundary or the field. I know we had him at boundary corner, and probably will put him back there now. But he can play both, so he gives us depth, and he also gives us a guy that really makes plays. I mean, he's a good cover guy. He gets his hands on the ball. He'll come up and tackle. He's tough. He loves football. And this guy's got one of the best attitudes of any player I've ever been around. He's fun to be around.
It's a like everyone sees when the secondary when there's a mistake back there, obviously, but at this point, can you identify like, is it just little lapses, or is it more cause for concern on assignments?
Yeah, in the secondary, there's two things. Number one, you've got to have great eyes, which means, depending on what the coverage is, your eyes have to be at the right place. Are you supposed to be eyeballing the receiver, or are you supposed to have your eyes in the backfield? And, twice we got caught with our eyes in the backfield when we shouldn't have, and we got beat on play action passes over the top. And other times it's just a mental error of not rotating back to the middle of the field and those type of things. So it's a combination, Jason, mental errors and like I say, just fundamentals of having your eyes in the right place. Athletically, we've got guys that can do it. They're making plays. They're just not consistent enough.
Okay, maybe one or two more from the in-person media before we move to the Zoom reporters.
Do you have
How
any?
about the stops on fourth down, Coach?
Huge. I mean, our deal, and again, I think, Jack, that goes back to, again, what I'm talking about, the character of these guys we're coaching. I mean, our guys, man, they'll fight. They're playing hard, and they're trying to do the right thing. So, that's huge when you can go out and get fourth down stops on the goal line or anywhere like our defense did. Those are building blocks. Those are things that are going to pay off for you down the road. And if we keep playing aggressive like that, it'll help us.
Back-to-back home games here, going up against then 3 straight road games. Is this a critical part in the season with back-to-back home games here?
I mean, every week's critical for us. I mean, right now we just need to play better and try to get a win and then go to the next week. And so, yeah, it's all critical.
Are there any injuries, Coach? Buckley is one guy I kept forgetting to ask about. I don't know if he's going to be back.
He's still in rehab with the knee, and don't expect to have him back this week, but I'm hoping that soon we can have him back. Other than Jonah, we came out of the game pretty good health-wise.
Trevor will be back? Or?
Trevor's out of protocol, so he's back. Yeah, he's back. He and Dumas are the two guys back defensively that can help us.
Can you give us a quick scouting report on SC State?
Yeah, again, this is just a tradition-rich program with really good coaches, and they have great athletes there. I mean, the skilled players that they have, they always have speed, and they always have linebackers that are really athletic. These are two of the most athletic linebackers that we'll play against all year probably. And you can watch the Clemson game and see them, get off the blocks against Clemson and make tackles and running, step for step with Clemson, who we all know has athletes. So, again, we will not have any talent edge. I know everybody thinks FCS, FBS. We don't have any talent edge over South Carolina State. I mean, they're as good or better than we are talent-wise. So, it's going to be a task. They're a really efficient offensive football team. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves, and they're explosive. They played Alabama A&M the first game, scored a bunch of points, and that's what they can do in a hurry. And they can get people behind you, and they're just a really well coached team.
It looks like the quarterback is a dual kind of guy. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, they can do both. I mean, they play 2 quarterbacks, one primarily, but they both can run and throw. There's not anything where you say, well, this guy's in, it's got to be a run. They're much more dimensional than that, and they do a good job with everything they do.
Thomas and our friends on Zoom that are joining us.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah. Is that Ken?
It is
What exactly is his status?
What did you say?
Repeat again,
One more
sorry.
time, Ken?
I'm sorry, I heard it. Did you heard it exactly is his status?
You're breaking up.
Jonas wrist.
Oh, Jonah's wrist, yeah. It's still trying to evaluate and see, how fast he can heal up and what the process is. Is he going to need surgery? Is he not? I mean, there's all those type of things going on. So it's really in the doctors and trainers' hands right now. I don't know about his prognosis for the rest of the season. I just know that it doesn't look very good for the near future.
Thank you.
Yes, Coach. First off, just how to get this game against South Carolina State. And does the players know anything about it? Guess the history or anything about South Carolina State?
Well, most of our players are from Texas, California. We have very few from back east, so educating them to South Carolina's tradition, history. You know, that's the very first thing I started off with Sunday. Yeah, I think they're well aware of now of what they're facing since they've gotten to see film. Also, it doesn't take long for you to put the film on and see the type of athletes that South Carolina State has and how well they're coached and those type of things, to know that, you know, you're going to be in for the fight of your life. So they certainly better understand that.
Yeah, you talked about State offensively, but also defensively, particularly. Secondly, Durant has been someone getting a lot of attention. Just how much has he been a focus in game film?
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit. I think you're asking about South Carolina State's defense.
Oh, Durant, in the secondary, how much has he been a focus for you in terms of preparing for this game?
Right. Yeah, I tell you what, he reminds me a lot of the young man we were talking about for our team, Cyrus Dumas, who I think is our best corner, best athlete back there. They're really similar, and he's a dynamic player. You know, you can watch him play against Clemson or whoever it is they're playing against. He can match up against anybody. So that's certainly a concern, and he's probably one of the best ones we'll play this year.